G'day my friends and welcome to Marty's Garden right here on YouTube. Another live show today. Thank you so much for turning up, those who are here right now at the 10 a.m. start. Welcome. Look, we've got an awesome show. Gardening therapy cures lockdown blues. I feel this is really important and I just wanted to bring this. I've been doing some research and doing a little bit of reading about it and thinking about, and I've had off and on, I've had sort of some mental health issues myself with depression and different things, being sick and stuff like that, and using garden therapy and using the ocean and many different things for healing, as well as I'm a big believer in prayer. And, this was something that I wanted to bring about. I was going to do this maybe last week and I was thinking this is really cool. Let's talk about this one and bring this to the public. And look, even if I just help one person, hopefully I can help more than that, but even if it's just one person, then that's just absolutely brilliant as far as I'm concerned. So we've got a few crew here, and we will fire away. YAS, thank you for coming. Always great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. And Scott King, g'day Marty, hey mate. Thanks for coming, appreciate you. And everyone else that's come to watch the show. We're going to be talking about gardening and therapy in the gardening and our mental health and being able and what little things we can do to fix maybe some lockdown blues, or like we might have lost our job or something like this, and many changes, and thinking, how can we do a little bit of extra gardening and grow some stuff and do some different things. Because I was on the phone to my mum. She said, she likes gardening, and she said, I've been doing some gardening. There's only so much I can do. It's a bit cold now. Everything's not growing so fast. They're in Sydney lockdown at the moment, and she is a real socialite and in her early 80s and very active and wants to get out and about. But unfortunately, she's even run out of gardening for the neighbours as well. So that's how things can be sometimes. But listen, we're only going to be here for this is a shorter show today. I've got a lot going on. I'm actually I've been talking about on the channel how I'm sort of mixing the organics into the worm farming. Well, I've been looking at the concept of bringing some food to restaurants and cafes and to locals again. And it looks like I'm partnering up with someone in a really awesome space, only 5 minutes from where I live, and it's in the forest, and we've got it all fenced off. There's kangaroos and deer and koalas, and it's on this beautiful eco reserve, and it's like a resort sort of thing. So if that goes through, I've got one more meeting. If that all goes through, I will be updating you on that, guys. It's going to be really awesome, and everything's a whole market garden, and there's even possibly a winery going in as well, which I may be part of. It's all going to be organic. So really, some really great stuff going on. Just don't know if I'll be here next week though because of that. But Damien Glee, thanks mate for coming. G'day, how you going? We got Karita B from Wisconsin. Welcome. And I love this topic. Honestly, been pumping out the gardening. The council strip is now mine. Yeah, awesome. Look, if you can get out on the council strip, I'm sort of out there nearly. I'm sort of just off the wage of it. But if you can get out there and use whatever space you can, then why not? I think it's absolutely awesome. So again, thank you so much for coming. We've got Barry Watler. Hi, Marty. Sunny, 20 degrees Celsius in Brisbane. I think we're going to hit a 23 here on the mid-north coast when I was just checking before. So, pretty excited about that. I've actually got some plants under lights at the moment that I've been trying to get going a little bit earlier forward to going into summer. But to be honest, the weather's been that warm, I don't even think I needed to turn them on. I very rarely use them. I usually use greenhouses, but I was given some, so I thought I'd give them a try. And they're doing quite well under there. But anyway, pretty excited about this little farm thing that's going through. And it really is a blessing from this, and there's a really good story to it, and it's only 5 minutes up the road, which is absolutely just amazing. And we've got acres to play with, so and possibly nearly a lifetime lease. It's like I said, it's almost a mini miracle, and it's all off grid, which makes it, which I really like as well, because my system's here. We don't use any electricity. Everything's done by hand, so really cool. And for me, that is my therapy. You know what I mean? That's going to be a part of my therapy as well as my part-time job. and we're going to expand on the compost business so we can make that larger and get the worm farms bigger worm farm systems that are feeding everything, and then looking at, I think it's called viticulture for wine. Let me know if that's right, but yeah, setting up a big system for that. That's the future goal. And yeah, I'll be involved in creating all that for all that micronutrient going out onto into an organic winery, and that's the long-term goal in that, if that all goes through. So get back to garden therapy, right? What is it? Well, I think we all know the word therapy, therapeutic, right? So we go back to Greek and Latin. I didn't write that down. Sometimes I like to go that far, but we all know what that means. And basically, look, it's the general benefits of connecting with nature and well-being, really. Like, that's what it is, right? And when we're out in the garden, we're worm farming or gardening or doing a bit of both, we can really sort of connect and get that sort of well-being and get our little mindset off the troubles and things that are going on. And if you want to get into the whole guru thing, in the now, like, so you know what I mean? Like, just get into that zone and start playing and planting. But if some people at the moment, they're going, oh, well, it's too hot, it's too cold, I can't really do much. Well, you can look at, like raising some seedlings, striking some cuttings. You could get some cuttings from the local gardens around the place, up and down the street. Who knows how far you can go, but, like my mum, she raids gardens and gets cuttings all the time. It used to embarrass me when I was younger. What are you doing? She goes, shit, they won't miss a few. I'm just like, oh, no. And anyway, so you could ask the neighbours for some cuttings. You could also grow some microgreens, some baby leaf crops in pots and things like that. That's why I bring out those little container gardening videos to just help people with a bit of sort of their therapy, home gardening therapy. And you can just, if you can still get to the local nursery, buy a couple of seedlings, pot them up, and you can be harvesting in a couple of weeks from your baby greens and your microgreens. Now, I've got a whole lot of seeds here. You're probably thinking, well, what are you growing for microgreens, Marty? Well, I've got purple radish, that's one. And so that's a really good one to grow even when it's right through summer and it starts warming up. Red vein sorrel, really pretty, sour flavour. Grows into a big leaf as well. Will grow all year round, but prefers a cooler time. And sprouting pea salad, perfect for now here in Australia, right around Australia, and into autumn going overseas. And I really recommend those. You can actually buy dried peas on the shelves. They work really good. I just can't get them anymore. What else have I got here? Some cabbage, red sprouting. Now all the cabbages, they're more of a autumn, spring, and if you're in a warmer climate like me, in the winter time and into now. And then this is a really cool one that I haven't done microgreens before, but I'm going to grow these in microgreens and then bigger crops as well. Chives. I eat so many chives in my stir fries, in my rissoles when I'm making them, when I'm making different veggie dishes, into lentil dishes, everything. Chives is great with the garlic. Purple basil fire, summer, a black purpley basil, really cool plant to grow. Amazing, just amazing. You can get all these online, all these plants. And then we've got the base. This is called Genovese basil. This is a normal, Italian basil that you see. And I've got a big pack of that. Like I've got a lot here because I deal with a seed company, Fairbanks, and they supply most of southeast Queensland, right across Australia. And, they're for market gardeners and big time gardeners, but I've got an account with them and a good long-term relationship, but you could possibly do that too. They do have an online store, but understand they don't sell 5 or 10 seeds, bigger packs. So, anything from sort of $20 to $40 up generally. But you can find they'll last you all year if you're growing a lot like me. So there's some medium onion chives. And so I'll just put all these back in now. And so, you can get them in smaller ones. You can even buy good stuff. Some of the shops off eBay, I wouldn't recommend all of them. Just be careful you don't get treated seeds from them, depending on what country you're in and where you're buying them from. And yeah, if you can, go for an organic untreated seeds. That's the way to go. Or a good reputable dealer. Microgreens are up in like a week. You can do them on your window shelf. You can do them under a little light. You can do them in the dark even, if it's warm enough. And then just come in, a little bit of light, they go green, and then you harvest. So a good fun crop to grow. And that's something that I'm going to be doing for the restaurants. But let's see who else we got here today. And we've got the Mary Gold Life. Hello from Missouri. and hello there. It must be pretty hot in Missouri. Let me know what the temperatures in the world. Let us all know what it's like over there in where you are, please. I'd love to know. And show it to everyone else. Rain and flooding in Nashville, Tennessee. Wow. I hope everything's okay over there, guys, and stay dry if you can. We just had major floods where I am. If you know, the last big flood that went through Australia was right here where I live in Port Macquarie, and I've got friends that lost houses only just down the road. I was locked in, so another form of lockdown, locked in by the floods. Paul P, imprisoned in Sydney. Yeah, mate. Well, hopefully this can give you a bit of idea and maybe a bit of passion to get out and do something if you're not doing it already. And just coming here and watching the show and meeting some crew and stuff like that, it's a good place to get out. It's a quick show today. Got a lot to do, but we'll get this message out here and have a bit of a chat. And if you've got any questions to do with organic gardening or worm farming, I'm happy to answer them almost straight away. And I'll go through the gardening therapy cures list right here as we're going through. Brian Oliver, morning, bro. Thanks for being. Really appreciate it. And it's unreal to see everyone here on the Thursday. And hopefully we can make it next Thursday. Just keep an eye open for it in the announcements, depending on whether I have to go up onto the farm or not next Thursday, which is very likely. Coming into spring, we're going to be pretty busy. And Northeast Worms, g'day, mate. And hope the worm farms are going well over there. I know you've been giving out lots of worms to the worm farming channels over there. And Northeast Worms supplies worms through certain parts of America. You can just drop a comment in there where you supply Northeast Worms throughout America, where you supply to. I'm happy to have that. So please let everyone know in there. So if they want to buy compost worms from you, I'm happy to support that. Scott King, have you tried Mr. Fothergill's organic range from Bunnings? I have, and I've got some right there, actually. One of the next videos coming up soon. We've got one more talking about the organic liquid that I make, and then for the fertilizer. And then we're looking at some of the Mr. Fothergill's organic range. So, yeah, I'm going to be bringing those out the next few days, the next few weeks. So keep an eye open for those. We got one coming up on the rock minerals as well. So I think they're not a bad product. But remember, Mrs. Fothergill's make everything. So you just wonder, are they cashing in on some of the organic stuff? Because they're not true. Like in my mind, if they were a true organic company, they'd just be making organics. Remember, they do supply chemical fertilizers in their other products. So that's one thing to mention. But I do have it there, and I will be going over it for sure. But my favourite from them is the rock minerals from Bunnings. If you want to grab one now, I get that because it's got a pretty good NPK, slow release, won't get into the waterways. You can put it into your worm farms, and you can fertilise your plants with it, and you can actually put it into your worm tea as well. But I shouldn't have gave away that whole video of mine, so make sure you watch it when it comes out. PTG Benny, hey Marty, from Wagga Wagga, New South Wales. G'day, mate. Remember, if you've got any questions, fire away. Just put a Q next to the question. Happy to answer them pretty much straight up today. As I said, quick show. We're going to only be going for about half an hour. Got to go shopping and run around. I've got this meeting at 12 o'clock. Crazy day today. 23 degrees north of Gympie. Wow, that's nice. It's going to be 23 here today, apparently. It doesn't feel like it yet, but I've been out bagging compost and I was in t-shirt and jeans. Winter, can't beat that, right? What are your thoughts on hydroponics? Well, the last live show I did is hydroponics organic, and I think to answer it quickly, I think hydroponics in some ways is quite good as long as the waste from hydroponics doesn't go out and affect the environment anyway. So if people are releasing and cleaning out systems and just let it go down the sink or down into drains and things like that, I'm totally against that because we're releasing chemical fertilizers into the systems. But if it's using all up and it's a way for it to actually, if it's all dried up or you're releasing it properly, I'm all for it because we can grow very close to home, cuts down food miles, and if we're done properly, we don't have to use sprays and chemicals and things like that. So a lot of the food we get from the supermarkets and stuff is probably less quality than growing at a home close to you or getting it from a hydroponic supplier close by. So being an organics guy, but that's my thoughts on it. I'm pretty sure I've got that out there, and many people would agree. Some might not agree, but it doesn't matter. That's my thoughts. Question, is it too early to sow tomatoes, cucumbers, beans here in southern New South Wales. Into a greenhouse first. You could even make yourself a little hothouse. And if anything, there's heaps of like YouTube videos on doing those. You can use like little plastic bottles and put a lid over the top, bit of drainage, little boxes. You can put like straw bales with a glass window over the top. You can put bricks, big brick area, cover it in plastic. Anything to sort of keep the breeze and bring the heat up. You could even put them in an old car on the back window. And then go for it. And then you'll find it'll be warm enough by the time they're up. Hopefully that helps. But outdoors, still a little bit cold yet. You can do beans. You could do some beans, some of the colder beans, but snow peas would be the way to go. And different peas and things, that would probably do better. Best treatment to powdery mildew on herbs. Catmint, how to avoid it when growing plastic. Ooh. Airflow is the key, right? So you've got to get more airflow into your greenhouse. Basically, if you've got a greenhouse, the cheap ones that you buy, you need to roll up at the bottom or put some holes down the bottom. You need to have a top and bottom vent going like this, and open the door at the end. And you use watered down milk, I think 10-1 for powdery mildew. But once powdery mildew hits hard, it's pretty much hard to get rid of it. You need to just throw your plants. But yeah, more airflow into the future for sure. All right, fire away with any more questions. 18Bs, unreal to see you here. Hello, my neighbour called me and asked me how to deal with moles eating all my worms. She has her worms in a compost pile. I couldn't help her because she needs to move her compost pile somewhere, and get some wire or something underneath, if it's already set up, they're already in there, I'd say more likely they're coming back. New system, big plastic barrel maybe, but some type of wire, heavy wire underneath where they can't get underneath. It's the only way, otherwise you just keep fighting it. So yeah, whole new system would be what I'd recommend. All right, so creating your own, here we go, let's crack into the garden therapy. Creating your own green space, big or small. As I mentioned, you could do like cuttings, you could do microgreens, things like if you're out in the backyard, little patio or whatever, or just a container garden, get into some container gardening. Look at what's growing in your climate at the moment, what seedlings you could raise at the moment. And maybe, have a little greenhouse set up like the guys were saying from New South Wales, southern, and start growing on a bit earlier. Lights are really cheap these days, LED grow lights. Make sure you get the good coloured spectrum, right through the coloured spectrum. And you can do little hydroponic units that you can buy, smart gardens, things like that. You can put on your kitchen bench. There's so many options these days. So make your own little green space. And that'll get away the garden blues, right? Some of the lockdown blues, garden blues, because what we're doing is we're stimulating the mind and getting our mind off these type of things and finding something that we can do that we enjoy. Right, so activities with plants. Grow your own, nurturing, caring, harvesting, see? So after we grow it all, like if we're growing some microgreens and baby leaf and things, or maybe even some cut flowers, we can harvest and have the enjoyment of harvesting and sharing and caring and eating it with our families, or putting some nice flower arrangements together, or whatever you're into, And everyone benefits from that, right? Even if you're doing cut flowers. I've got marigolds growing outside now at the moment, and they're a nice cut flower, but they're really good as a companion plant. That's why I've got them started, because they keep away nematodes, bad nematodes in the soil, and they attract bees and good hoverflies and all the beautiful beneficial insects. All right, so Kenny, how long does synthetic fertilizer stay in the soil? Forever, as long as, if no moisture's hitting it, it's not breaking down. It's basically they're salts, right? So they need the moisture to hit it to break down, and then, same as in hydroponics, they're salts. So we've got mineralized systems, but it's made out of sort of petroleum and things like that. But I guess it would go hard and crusty and crack, but it could last a very, very long time. I've got an old little container of some of that mineral, like synthetic fertilizer, sitting in the shed. I never use it. Just looks the same as what I bought it 4 years ago. I think I bought it for some little container garden thing that I was doing. I very rarely touch the stuff, right? All right, green exercise and creating and eliminating your blue space. So that's pretty similar, like what we're talking about is just getting involved. So if you've got a bigger space, you get out, mow the lawn. I went and bought some big shears the other day. I've got a little space out here, and I just went through and just went shit, everything. And then I went, oh no, right, keep going, and just hacked away, hacked the lemongrass right back, some of the bushes and things. I opened everything right up for summer. So, it's one of those jobs that you go, oh, that'd be pretty boring. But once you start going, it's pretty fun when you see the end result. So, yeah, creating your green space and a bit of green exercise, you can't beat that, right? And getting involved in all this is good for our senses, our taste, our smell, touch and sight. So think about all those things as well at the same time. If you're a little bit down, you know what I mean? Like as you're sort of getting stuff, smelling it, tasting it, thinking about, and even thinking about the future end product of what you got when you're harvesting or what you're going to do with it. Could be potting something up and go, oh, my neighbour's really in the blues down the street. I'm going to make up a little pot plant arrangement for them. You might put some chives together with a strawberry pot or something like that and give it as a gift. There's lots of little things we can do. So as we're thinking about the end result and then using the touch, senses, taste and smell to, take away the blues. So, Kate Kenny, thank you very much for the information. I'm sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied here, twisted. Right, let's go. Kate Kenny, thanks for the info. You are very welcome. And can you speed it up anyway? Speed what up, Kate? Can you please let me know there what you want me to speed up, and I will let you know, because generally we can speed things up. I can't speed my voice up because then I'll just go tongue-tied again and I'll start losing it. Got to go shopping and do some grocery shopping. They're at a meeting at 12 o'clock. And back to work again, bagging, compost again, orders. Spring's around the corner for me, so just about to go into my really busy time. Really looking forward to that, especially getting out onto this big space. If you didn't hear, you've come a bit later. I've been at some meetings at a big eco resort just 5 minutes up the road from where I live in the forest. It's just across the beach, got a big lake behind it, beautiful views, kangaroos, koalas. There's some deer there as well, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but they're nice to see and they're pretty timid. We've got a whole big fenced off area. We've got acres basically. We've got a fenced off area that I'll show us if everything goes through. A partner to work with who I really like, I really admire, great guy. And the people that own it, really cool crew, and could be lifetime lease. So we could end up doing quite a lot there. And as I said, this is looking at the possibility of putting in a winery as well, and an organic winery, and I will be involved in helping that to come to be. So that's really exciting too. And then I'm going to talk to them about maybe a bush foods area. We're talking in the last meeting actually about also a space for an education zone so people can come. I know that people like to come to these spaces, like Mark from Self-Sufficient Me. He gets people asking all the time to come to his place, but that's his home there, so that's a whole different thing. You really don't want people coming into your home so much. I get people come here to order compost and worms and things like that, and I've had people try and walk straight into my home. It's pretty wild. You really don't want that. But this would be a space where it'll be set up for education. And yeah, if all goes well, it'd be really good. And it'd be a great place to film and video, show you how I'm putting together all the big worm farm systems to fertilise the whole market garden, and even maybe a bush food zone, little permaculture zone, which, for the bees, for the wildlife, the fauna and stuff like that. So it's going to be very interesting, and I think it's going to be one of a kind within Australia, from my belief anyway. So, yeah. Here we go. Scott King. More water, Kate. Kenny, flush that fertiliser. Yeah, so more water. Just make sure where the water's going, or if you can dig it out and get rid of it, then do that. If not, just let it go. Look, it's not going to, like I've been in places where it's been there. Eventually it disappears. The microbiology just kills it off, right? The soil heals itself. As long as you're feeding the soil, it will feed you, and then it will repair itself over time. So don't get too worried about it if that's a problem. Karita B, super chat, $4.99 from Karita B. Look, Karita, thank you so much. This is just wonderful. I appreciate anything like that. I truly do. Bottom of my heart. We have this artificial crowd here, and I like them very much, and they give us an applause. Come on, go. Yes, they're a bit late behind the scene there, but we give it an applause for Karita B. Thank you so much for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. And if anyone wants to give a super chat before we finish up today, then please do. There's a little comment box below, the comments box down below. You can do that, and even any small amount's really appreciated. Thank you very much. Kate Kenny. Moving into a new house and excited to put in loads of edibles, but suspect synthetic fertilizers and pesticides used previously. I'd like to plant in the ground as well as containers. All right, Kate, I've got an idea for you. If you can get some bales, look at sort of like going away more into that no dig, unless you've got really hard clay underneath, right? And you look, it's compacted, then you're going to need to turn it over a bit because the roots won't get down. But you could look at straw bale gardening, and so you get the straw bales, you put in some nitrogen. I use coffee grounds, but you could use any type of nitrogen. You don't have to use nitrogen, you can cover it in compost, and you're just putting layers of compost on top. And you plant shallow rooted plants such as lettuce, and I put peas in later on, they shoot the roots down in. It takes a while, you really got to wet it down quite a lot, and then just plant little plants in it. And then it will eventually, you're getting lettuce and different shallow root. You can start putting in some radishes and different things. When you get them, you just cut the plant. You don't pull the plant out. You leave the root in there. Then when you plant again, you just put more compost over the top until eventually it becomes your garden bed. I've got papaya growing out of mine now and all different types of plants. You wouldn't even know. Even around the side, I've got those happening there, and I've got big bushes of a rocket arugula. People go, wow, what is that? I go, it's rocket. They go, arugula. They go, really? Because it's like this above ground sort of style that eventually connects to the ground. Then the worms all move into it and it all starts healing itself. But you just got to put compost on top. Think of it as layers, like a lasagna bed sort of thing. But if you can get straw bales, that is the way to go. And then the ground will heal itself underneath. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. It's about cringiness. Good to see you here, mate. What's up? How's things? Things are really good. Really good. How are things going with the lockdown? Oh, it's pretty crazy. New South Wales is nuts. Sydney's even worse. But, we're getting through it. And luckily I've got my little government job that I do part-time. And whether we work or not, we get paid. I'm working at the moment because schools are still open. And I'm only helping about 4 kids a day at the moment, but kids are still open. The schools are still open, even though most are staying home because essential workers are keeping their kids there. So yeah, I'm there, and everything's fine. We're getting through the lockdown blues. But in Sydney, I feel sorry for you guys. So anyone in Sydney, my hat goes off for you, and a lot of compassion, and yeah, keep doing the fight, guys, and just find ways to get around the lockdown blues. All right, so we got any more questions, my friends? Any gardening questions, organic gardening questions, worm farming questions, just fire away. And happy to answer them before we head off. Like I said, we're not here very long today. Quick show. Normally we go for about an hour. But yeah, got a bit of a busy day today, so we won't be hanging around too much longer. But the next videos that are coming up, I've got one about the liquid that I make, and I'm showing you how I make the liquid from my worm farms. So you can make your own organic liquid at home. It's a cost-free method once you've got a worm farm, and you can make liters and liters and liters of the stuff. It's just endless. And you can, just fertilize your plants with it, and the plants just go burko on it. And I put it actually on the bottom of my microgreens, in the bottom trays and bottom feed that way. It does really great. And then I've got another video coming out about rock minerals as well. So keep an eye open for those. And then we've got a few videos coming up about sort of like different amendments and things that you can use organically in the garden. And then we'll be, if all goes well with this farm, we'll be vlogging up there and showing you what's going on. And I'll break it down. There'll be some market gardening stuff, and then there'll be some stuff for small space gardeners. We'll be mixing it all up through there. And it's a really quiet place, so I won't have road noise, dogs barking, mowers on, whippersnippers on, things like that, which I've really been struggling with sometimes. The dog, you're out there filming. Hey, how's it going, Marty Gardeners? Boo, 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 boo. Just going, shut up, boo, cut. It's like, vroom, vroom, the motorbike starts next door. You just going, oh. So I like being in here doing these live shows because I can lock down, and no, I shouldn't use that word, lockdown, but I can sort of control my environment a bit more. That's why you see me on the table sometimes. So yeah, we're going to be up there, and it's going to be nice and quiet, and really looking forward to that. Damien Gleave. Sorry, I've missed a couple here. I'll keep going up through. You're welcome, Kate. Loved it, Marty. Yeah, we've still got a little while to go yet. If you've got any more questions, please fire away. Bro, is worm wheat alive with bacteria? Yep, it can be good or bad bacteria, right? But what we want, it's not actually wee. Worms do not wee. They actually just lay a casting, and whatever that comes out of that casting there, they have a mucous membrane on the outside, and that is what goes into the liquid. And I'm going to be talking about that in the video coming up, and talking about the good and the bad bacteria and things like that. So if we do it right, it's alive with very good bacteria, and the science is all behind it these days. There's even companies doing it. They're not using worm castings, they're using the liquid coming out of the worm farm. I've been doing it for years now, but a lot of people want to argue with me about it, so I'm like, okay, I'll keep it a bit quiet because I get nailed. But, people are opening up a bit more, and I'm just like, I don't care as much anymore. So I just share what I do, and I'm getting results, and hopefully help you guys get results. That's what it's all about for me. Question, is there any bush food that you can use for microgreens or hydroponics? That's a really good question. Now, I tried this a while ago. They've got that one bush farmer's friends, right? It's a little native weed that gets stuck on your shirt, little hook on it. It's edible as a sprout, but I ate a few of them and I got a bit of a funny tummy. But other people do it. That's the only one I know. Other than that, you've got little dandelions and things like that. So more in sort of not so much the Aussie natives that I know as of yet, but I will look into that more into the future for sure, because I like that concept. But let me think of anything else. There's a little weed that grows along the ground in sandy areas and stuff, and it looks a bit like the money tree or a succulent, and that's very high in omega-3s, and that's a really good one. I just can't think of the name. If someone else knows the name of it, it crawls along the ground, or succulent. It's a little weed, and it's the highest in omega-3s that there is out of any plant, and that's a really cool one. But I just wish I had maybe if someone's watching the rerun, they can leave the name of it down below. Q, and still trying to find that sink. Okay. Sorry I'm late. No worries, mate. Sorry, but we're nearly finished. Just a quick one today, but you can always go back and watch the rerun. But it's nice to see you here and that you've made it. Hey everyone, sorry a little late. Been out in the garden. We're in lockdown in New Zealand. Yeah, New Zealand's fully locked down, the whole country, isn't it? I hear. I saw something on the news. Hopefully, you're outside relieving the lockdown blues. But if you missed some of the show, you can always go back and watch the beginning and go over the bit. But it's really just to catch up and just have a bit of a rundown of what we can do and can't do, and what we can possibly do and look at into the future. And that's sort of what we've been covering. Where did you get that snifter? I've been looking for it everywhere. I can't find it. A sifter. There's a pre-made one. So if you look in YouTube, there's lots of different ones for DIY ones. I had someone make mine, so you can actually go and get a DIY one. Just ask someone to make it for you locally if you're not, you're sort of not handy. I'm not really that handy. I just don't have time to make everything. So how is everyone then? I think everyone's pretty good. And we have an answer. This is one thing you got to love about these live communities, right? I've never seen it where no one's never had an answer. Purslane, yeah, great little plant. It's got a bit of a sour sort of taste. You grow it in sandy thing like you would a succulent. Likes full sun. And it's really great. Purslane. And portulaca is the other family maybe for it. But make sure it's Purslane's the one. I don't know which of the common names. Portulaca could be a part of the botanical name, Latin name, I think. Or portulaca could be the money tree. Could be a different plant. So, but remember, Purslane's the one that I know. I'm sure mine is good bacteria and my garden is pumping. Oh, for sure, mate. Look, the go is just really put it through quite often and keep it as oxygenated as possible and keep it nice and fresh. And if it goes a bit sour, then you put it back through your worm farm. And is it pig face? No, it's not a pig face, but there is a pig face that grows on the beach in Australia, a native bush food. It's got a pinkish flower, but I don't think you would grow it like a microgreen or anything like that. You grow it like you would a succulent. And the Aboriginals used to call them bush lollies. And really, really nice plant to eat. All right, guys, so as I said, this is a bit of a quick one today. If you got any more questions, we'll go for another 5 minutes, and then I am going to head off. I've got so much happening today. We're lucky we were able to get here, have a quick catch up. Sorry if it's a little bit quick for you all, but if you come in late, you can watch the rerun and go over it. You know, we're talking about garden therapy and the benefits, and growing your own, nurturing, caring, harvesting, the benefits for the family, you know, creating your green space, things like that, and what plants you can grow. And I've shown some of my seeds that I've got coming up for my microgreens and baby leaf and herbs and things coming up. So what we'll do is we will take this one question here, Q&A. Thinking of making a glass house. Any ideas? Been watching the US, but don't think I can do as cheap. So question is, better to buy or to make? That's a really good one, James. I made my own on the last micro farm, and I didn't use glass. I used that you know, the Perspex clear stuff. It's got the sort of corrugated ridges. I used that, and that worked pretty good for me. Just make sure you got really good airflow in them, and if you make your own one, have a good roof that sits on an angle, not a flat one, faces towards the sun. You want a higher side at the back, a lower side at the front, and so you can catch the water running off. That's really good, because then you get rainwater and you got really good quality water to use. And make sure you got vents down the bottom and at the top, so the air can circulate back through. And have like a good they used like a crusher dust, metal dust on the floor, so the water can get away, because you don't want that water trapping in and creating humidity and problems. So you want that water getting away, and any bits of soil and funky stuff that drops down below to go down into the soil down below. And then try and make it so you can't get any vermin in. So yeah, I'd do some costings, because there's some pretty good ones out there now that you can buy. Owen's Worm. I'm a great believer in garden therapy. Me too, and that's why we did it. And I think, you know, we need to keep covering it that way. And you know, some of the videos that I've made recently, just those small container plan out ones, were really sort of focused in that way to just give people some little bit of an idea of what to do. We might even do that strawberry one coming up in the near future as well, and get that happening. All right, crew. So say g'day, say goodbye to everyone, please. We've been running for 40 minutes now. We've got 19 people watching. We've had 21 thumbs up. I want to thank you all for coming to the Thursday. Keep an eye open for the announcements in the announcements tab to see if Thursday's next show will be on. It just depends on what's going on the new farm, because it's going to be crazy busy. And yeah, shooting videos and farming, and then making a big compost system now. Big one. So yeah, very busy. But look, say goodbye to everyone, please, and we'll put it across. We'll whack some music on like we normally do. Start firing away. And look, this is a great song for therapy blues. This song, just listen to the song, it'll cheer you up. This song cheers everyone up.
The sun is warm, there's a gentle breeze. All the birds are making homes inside the evergreen. The air is clear, with our loved ones close. You can pick out every star without a telescope. So beautiful to see how we have changed. In time, you know, everything we've lost comes home.
Farm build's going to be awesome.
Sing along. Let's stay the same as the children grow, and teach them all the simple things we thought we used to know. So beautiful to see how we have changed. In time, you know, everything we've lost comes home again. know that we always held out hope. So if you grab onto my arm, let's take a walk until the sun gets warm.
Thank you so much, everyone. This has been such a great show. Even though it was a quick, short one, it was really nice to catch up, see everyone here. Thank you so much for coming. Please stay safe during this time. Do the best you can to stay healthy, well, and happy. Even in the hard times, think of what we can to be grateful for. I find that really helps me. And I have a mantra. It's called to be grateful in all things. And I think it really does help a lot. And when we get that green therapy and get out in the garden, worm farming and growing plants and handing things over to people as presents, thinking about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what the end result is. We can imagine that end result before we get it done. And that makes us feel really good. And then we usually get that result done. So it could be something as sprouting some microgreens, doing some cuttings, doing some little plant outs, making some little pots, getting some little succulents together in a little pot, maybe, making something for your neighbour or someone that's shut down and feeling a bit sort of depressed. Just a little knock on the door and leave it there and say, thank you and see you later. And mate, you could just make their day. Have a great day. Happy gardening. And we'll see you at the next video real soon. I love you all. Bye for now. Still had a few to go. I missed you guys. Sorry. All right. See you, my friends. Ciao.